Okay, here we go. This is a video tutorial for the starter practice with the money market handout. Question number 1 says Fruitalandia's central bank purchases $2 billion worth of bonds on the open market. So first things first, draw your supply of money as a vertical line, your downward sloping demand for money, and then your axes, the Y labeled nominal interest rate and the X labeled quantity of money. Show that intersection as an equilibrium nominal interest rate, and because the central bank is purchasing bonds, be comfortable with synonyms. This is the same as buying bonds. So when we buy bonds, we make the money supply bigger. We should be shifting that money supply line to the right, showing that nominal interest rate decreasing. Number 2, the country of Xanadu has consumers that are using more cash as a result of increased credit fees. They're looking at credit cards as a very expensive form of payment. So let's switch to cash. Remember that the demand for money reflects actual currency that is printed in a country. We are going to be shifting that demand of money to the right. And just like anything that's in greater demand, it's going to be more expensive. So remember that interest rates are the price of borrowing money, and therefore if cash is in more demand, then we will see interest rates on the nominal front increase. Number 3 says that consumers opt to use their credit cards more for day-to-day expenses as a result of a recession. Think about it. In a recession, people are nervous to spend or they are losing their job. They've lost it already. They are nervous to use their cash. They also might not be able to afford things, and therefore they are resorting to credit cards. The demand for money will be shifting to the left, and therefore we will see nominal interest rates fall. Sometimes students have a hard time figuring out which scenario is a demand for money and which is a supply of money. So those two, numbers 2 and 3, I think do a good job of showing you that the demand for money is very much in the control or, sort of dictated by what households and businesses are doing with cash as opposed to alternative forms of payment like credit. Number 4 brings us back to something that is clearly a supply of money shifter because country Z's central bank is selling securities on the open market. Alliteration, when they sell, they are making the money supply smaller. They both start with the letter S. So therefore, we're going to start with that graph and we are going to shift that supply of money to the left. And by selling securities, country Z is probably trying to purposely raise the interest rates. This will then discourage households and businesses from borrowing and therefore perhaps contract the economy, lowering that aggregate demand, all of that interest-sensitive consumption that businesses and households would be using their borrowed money for. So that is to come in our unit. We're going to learn more about the impact of interest rates upon aggregate demand. But these 4 examples do a great job of showing you 4 possible ways in which you might be changing either the supply or the demand on the money market graph.